It's time for IP in the news, and we're going to be talking about trademarks today. And everybody's heard of the band Earth, Wind, and Fire, right?
Hope so.
Right. Very famous band. And, famous bands, lots of times they have the tribute bands, right?
Absolutely.
So it turns out that Earth, Wind, and Fire decided to sue a tribute band for trademark infringement, and they're named Earth, Wind, and Fire Legacy Reunion. And so that's the name of the tribute band. Well, not to just take this lying down, the Earth, Wind, and Fire Legacy Reunion tribute band counterclaimed in the lawsuit against Earth, Wind, and Fire, claiming that the Earth, Wind, and Fire band, the original band, had abandoned their trademark because they let so many other tribute bands use the terms Earth, Wind, and Fire that their trademark rights got diluted and became weak.
Right. So they have September, a tribute to Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Let's Groove Tonight.
Ooh, I love that
the
song.
Ultimate,
September. Ooh,
the ultimate
dancing
Earth,
in
Wind, and Fire tribute
September.
band. Okay. As well as Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute. So some of the people in this tribute band that they are going after, though, were like backup people in the actual Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right.
So I don't know if there's some like sort of animosity there because of a past relationship, but it does seem kind of strange that they would go after just one of these.
Right. And we don't know how it's going to turn out yet. It seems a little unfair that Earth, Wind, and Fire would pick on this one particular band when there seems to be at least 10 or 15 out there using the words Earth, Wind, and Fire. But on the other hand, I think it's a great lesson. That is, if you just don't enforce your trademark, then your trademark becomes vulnerable over time if other people start using it.
Right. And I do want to say, since we deal with intellectual property, that we found this article on Billboard online, and it was written by Bill Donahue. So thank you,
great.
Bill.
So now it's time for Richard's Roundtable, and I'm going to ask our phenomenal guests today what they think about this situation. And I'm going to start with Kenya Gibson. Kenya, are you with us?
I knew you were going to pick on me first. So what I think is interesting is, when you think about the whole like cover band situation, right? Like there's probably so many other cover bands who could find themselves in a similar scenario. But like, I guess, what are the rules of the road in terms of like music in general? Who can use your music? Who can sing your music? Like, I know there's a lot of royalty stipulations that go into the repurpose or the reuse of music. So I wonder how that plays all into this. And I think the main theme of your snippet, though, was just the use of the Earth, the Wind, and Fire phrase itself. Am I correct?
Yeah. The bands have to pay Earth, Wind, and Fire royalties, right? And usually the law is pretty clear that as long as you are showing in your name that it is, in fact, a tribute band, then you can get away with it. Some of the bands that were not sued were September, a tribute to Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Let's Groove Tonight, the ultimate Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute band. So those bands would argue, well, we're different enough from Earth, Wind, and Fire, and everybody knows that we're a tribute band. The one that got sued was Earth, Wind, and Fire Legacy Reunion. And that sounds like it could actually be Earth, Wind, and Fire reuniting, right? And so maybe that's why they got upset about it. So, there you have it. You even got to be careful how you name your tribute band. Matt McWilliams, good to have you on the show, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
What is your opinion on all this?
I think it's what you just said. I mean, the name to me, that sounds like I'm going to see Earth, Wind, and Fire. Maybe not with maybe with like the original members. Yeah, I don't know their history. I only know one of their songs. Yeah, I'm just young enough to only know one of their songs, and that's only because Jackie Chan. Yeah, long story.
Wait, Jackie Chan?
Earth, Wind, and Fire? Go see the original. Go see the original Rush Hour. You'll know what I'm talking about. And it sounds like it's like the original members. If you had a band called Allman Brothers, Legacy Reunion, I would assume All But the Dead, Allman Brothers are going to be there, they're going to have Dickie Betts. Like, I think he's still alive as far as I know. Somebody could correct me on that, but like, you're going to have the original members. That's what it sounds like to me. But I mean, it's a perfect example to me, like tribute bands, you're playing with, pardon the expression, but you're playing with fire. You're playing with the,
That was
you're
building pun.
It's I didn't mean it when I first started to say it, actually. So unintentional pun, as I often say.
But you're right. You're right though.
But
I will say that one of the things that brought out in the article is people bought tickets thinking
there you go,
that this was Earth, Wind, and Fire, and they got upset because Earth, Wind, and Fire didn't show up. It was a tribute band.
Yeah.
And people were asking for their money back. So in any case,
crazy.
I think it's kind of an odd situation. Yeah. Matt Merritt, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
What are your thoughts here?
I've actually had to defend myself actually in the past. And so what you open the show with and speaking about, if you do not defend it and you do leave it open for interpretation, it erodes the value and it erodes your position overall. I'm following along with you guys that the reality of the situation is it could very well be that they are the actual reunion band. And I could see where that would be misleading. And if I don't know how long it had gone on or how many other of these tribute bands have been around and for how long, but I think it's that crossing that line into almost a misrepresentation of who they think they or representing who they are. And that probably more than anything raises the ire of the original band and probably, brings it to a level of they needed to take some type of action and lay down some type of a demarcation. So to me, listen, I've been to many tribute bands, most notably is the nine different Beatles tribute bands that have been out there, but
there's only 9.
Yeah, but I in all of those and enjoying them.
I think we've been to I've only been to one tribute band. I think
that was Crosby, Stills, Nash. Lisa asked Lisa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And with all due respect to them, they're not quite as good as the original band was.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's a fun night, So.
And I do want to say something after Joni goes about an issue this raises.
Okay, well, Joni, so what are your thoughts on this whole trademark situation?
First, I want to thank you for having me. I'm going to go outside of this box and go into my spiritual world. When I hear stories like this, I immediately think about the spiritual growth opportunities that these groups have, the original band and the one that's getting it. And I go in, or folks who channel go in, and they can identify whether the band that's receiving the ire is receiving karmic debt, whether they're playing by opposites and this band actually was an original and they were possibly being frauded or duped or made an example of. It could be a curiosity situation where both parties are curious to play out this battle. It could be being of service, that by the band who is getting it, that they are now, as being an example, they are assisting other copy bands to watch how they position themselves in the industry. It could also be that that band that's getting the ire did that before and that they were a copy and that there was unforgiveness, and karma's karma. So whether it's playing by opposites, karmic debt, curiosity, whatever it might be, my take on this is that both parties have the opportunity to learn and balance and create something better from what is going on, which is a battle between who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah, and I want to go off something that you said, in that a lot of times people will take somebody else's trademark and tweak it a little or add something to the end or whatever. And we've gone over that with other trademarks in this show before, and that doesn't work. You can't do that.
Right.
But there is a place you can go to learn more about trademarks. Where would you go?
Well, I'd go to learn more about trademarks.com, and I would download our free information packet on trademarks and possibly book a consultation with me at learnmoreabouttrademarks.com.
There you have it.
Well, you set me up perfectly for that.